No one expected the night at Rogers Stadium to turn into one of the most dramatic moments of this concert tour. The rain pouring over the stage area only intensified Jimin's solo performance of Swim. Soaked to the skin, Jimin continued his performance with full energy, making tens of thousands of armies filling the stadium completely forget about the heavy rain. The performance captured everyone's attention from the very first second. The slippery stage did not cause Jimin to hold back on the power of his movements. Every choreography beat was executed with precision, while his wet hair and clothes created a dramatic visual that brought even more heat to the atmosphere. ARMY's cheers grew louder every time Jimin completed a difficult dance move. However, Jimin's performance was not the only highlight. In the middle of the act, the stadium camera suddenly pointed its focus toward Jungkook. His expression was captured on the big screen, causing the entire stadium to erupt once more. Jungkook looked mesmerized watching Jimin's performance, even shaking his head in disbelief at what he was witnessing. That spontaneous reaction quickly became one of the most talked about moments after the concert. ARMYs felt Jungkook's expression perfectly reflected the feelings of the entire audience that night. A mix of awe, shock, and an inability to look away from Jimin's maximum effort despite facing heavy rain. Meanwhile, Jimin seemed entirely unwilling to let the weather disrupt his act. He kept moving to the rhythm of Swim, occasionally casting sharp looks at the camera that sent another wave of screams through the crowd. Fans even described the moment Jimin performed the choreography while soaked as one of the most iconic visuals of the concert. What made the atmosphere even more emotional was the fact that Jimin was not just performing. He truly seemed to enjoy every second with ARMY. The occasional smile that appeared mid-performance suggested he was fully aware of the audience's wild reaction. The rain, initially expected to be a hindrance, transformed into an unforgettable part of the show. Shortly after the concert, video clips of Jungkook's reaction and Jimin's performance began circulating widely on social media. Posts highlighted Jungkook's expression, which was deemed too honest to hide. Comment sections flooded with ARMYs admitting they felt equally mesmerized even from just a few seconds of footage. That night, Rogers Stadium felt like it had its own storyline. The rain, the performance of Swim, Jimin's energy, and Jungkook's expression blended into a single moment that ARMYs found hard to move on from. If there is one takeaway from the event, it might be this. When Jimin starts dancing in the rain, even Jungkook cannot seem to look away. There was one moment in particular that became the hottest topic among ARMYs. As Jimin lost himself deeper into the choreography of Swim, the camera caught Jungkook's face from the side of the stage. His expression appeared so serious as he watched Jimin that some fans remarked he seemed to forget he was standing in front of tens of thousands of people. Occasionally, he would smile, shake his head, and then return his gaze to the stage. That reaction instantly drove the crowd at Rogers Stadium wild. As soon as Jungkook's face hit the giant screens, ARMY screams echoed far louder than before. Many audience members were no longer just watching Jimin perform, but were actively waiting for every shift in Jungkook's expression. Within seconds, the stadium's attention split in two: Jimin's act on stage and Jungkook, who could not stop watching him. What made the moment even more captivating was how genuine Jungkook's expression looked. He did not appear to be playing up a reaction for the camera. Its natural quality is precisely why fans latched onto it as one of the most entertaining moments of the night. Jungkook's subtle smile, focused gaze, and head shakes became key points of analysis for ARMY's post-concert. On the other hand, Jimin remained unfazed by the surrounding chaos. He continued to execute the choreography for Swim, with boundless energy despite the rain continuing to drench the stage. Every movement drew renewed cheers, while the camera repeatedly caught Jungkook's eyes glued to his fellow member. The situation evolved into an unplanned battle for attention. Jimin was busy delivering his best performance, while Jungkook unconsciously became a show of his own. Even when the camera panned back to Jimin, a segment of the audience kept waiting to see when Jungkook would reappear on screen. Clips of Jungkook's reaction went viral on social media immediately. Fans shared the footage from various angles, focusing heavily on the part where he smiled before returning to his stunned expression. Many joked that the reaction was the perfect mirror for how every ARMY felt watching Jimin perform in the rain. Yet beneath all the buzz, the moment underlined just how powerful Jimin's stage presence was that night. It was not just the fans in the stands. Even those standing right beside the stage gave him their undivided attention. Jimin turned the rain and the slippery surface into key elements of the overall atmosphere. In the end, it was not only Swim that left a lasting impression. Jungkook's expression became a centerpiece that elevated the conversation around the performance. And as Jimin finally concluded his routine, one question started circulating among ARMYs. Would Jungkook be able to hide his expressions the next time they share the stage together? ARMY's reaction was just as intense. As Jimin entered the most demanding part of the choreography, thousands of voices echoed simultaneously across the stadium. Purple light sticks waved like an endless ocean, while some fans were seen covering their faces, unable to contain their awe. In seconds, Rogers Stadium turned into a sea of roaring cheers. The energy surged even higher as Jimin ramped up the intensity of his dance. Every move seemed to elicit a distinct response from a crowd. Whenever he finished a difficult sequence, cheers exploded and resonated throughout the venue. Even the heavy downpour could not dampen the enthusiasm of the fans who had filled the stadium to witness the show. What rendered the scene truly spectacular was the sea of ARMY bombs moving continuously to the beat of the music. From a distance, the stands looked like an endless carpet of purple light. When the camera focused on the crowd, fans were seen singing, cheering, and holding their light sticks high despite working to protect them from the rain. Some fans appeared lost for words during the most anticipated choreography sequence. Some covered their faces with both hands, while others hugged the person next to them while screaming. These reactions showed that Jimin's performance was far more than a simple show. It was a shared emotional experience for thousands. Interestingly, the excitement did not drop when the camera shifted back to Jungkook. The moment his expression hit the screen, the volume of the crowd surged once more. It felt as though ARMYs were getting a second show, right after being stunned by Jimin. Jungkook's spontaneous reaction amplified an atmosphere that had been burning hot since the song started. In the middle of the rain, Jimin seemed to thrive on that response. He glanced toward the audience several times, flashing expressions that acknowledged their roaring enthusiasm. That interaction fueled the fans further, sending shouts and singing reverberating from every corner of the stadium. For many fans, this night stood out as an unforgettable concert experience. The rain made conditions at Rogers Stadium challenging, but that very factor added a layer of drama to the entire event. Jimin delivered at his absolute best. ARMYs offered unwavering support, and Jungkook's reaction added a narrative twist that kept everyone talking. When Swim finally came to an end, the chants of ARMYs continued to echo. Jimin left the stage having delivered one of the most memorable performances of the night, yet the audience's energy showed no sign of fading. The question remaining was simple. If a single performance by Jimin could set Rogers Stadium ablaze like this, what other surprises were waiting before the concert night truly came to a close? The increasingly slick condition of the stage did not make Jimin back down for a second. He maintained his tempo, balance, and facial expressions throughout the choreography. If anything, the situation seemed to push him to give even more of himself to the stage. For ARMYs, his commitment to performing at 100% in the rain served as proof of how seriously he takes giving fans the best possible experience. The water pouring onto the stage meant every move required heightened concentration. Still, Jimin executed the dance as intended. His focus remained sharp, his movement stayed on beat, and his face showed no trace of panic. This professionalism deepened the audience's admiration, seeing him maintain such high quality under far from ideal conditions. Rather than scaling back, Jimin immersed himself completely in Swim. Raindrops falling around him caught the stage lights, creating striking, dramatic visuals with every step. Each movement felt powerful, backed by the continuous roar of support echoing through Rogers Stadium. The audience understood the physical challenge Jimin was navigating. Every time he nailed a complex sequence, cheers erupted instantly. That encouragement seemed to act as fuel, driving the artist to push his limits further. Even amidst the downpour, Jimin managed to flash his signature expressions at the crowd, keeping the atmosphere electric and warm. The moment highlighted Jimin's professionalism as a performer. He refused to let the weather dictate the quality of his set. His mind stayed anchored to the music, the choreography, and his connection with ARMY. Despite his soaked clothes and wet hair, he maintained complete control until the final note.